Hey Fae folk, welcome back to another Disney doll ranking. Today we have a lot to tackle because we're actually going to be doing three different princesses just because none of them have like quite enough dolls to do their own video. So we're going to be doing three separate parts. We're going to be ranking Merida, Moana, and Tiana's limited edition dolls today, which hopefully will be super fun. If you're not interested in seeing all three of these rankings, I will have like the chapters so you can kind of skip around, see who you want to see, and like skip a princess if you're not a super big fan. I won't be offended. I won't even know. I'm sure there's some way I could like see on YouTube, but I don't care enough to check. So like it's okay. You're more than welcome to do that. But yeah, that is what we are going to be tackling today. So I have to give my thoughts on the princesses. This is something that I've been doing because it's just kind of fun. We're starting off with Merida because I think Merida is an underrated queen. I feel like so many people hate Brave. And like, I do understand that it is a very different style of movie for a Disney princess movie, but I still really like it. I think it's really solid. And I think she's a super fun princess. So we love Merida in this house. Moana, I also really enjoy. Her and Tiana, actually, I find very similar because I like both of them as princesses. Like, I'm not trying to say that I don't by any means, but it's one of those things where I like their movies more than I like them individually. Again, that's not to say that I don't like Moana or Tiana. I think they both have their own strengths and I really enjoy them in their own different ways. But like, I just happen to like not just them, but like the films that they are a part of more than I like them. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Does it really matter for the ranking? No, because we're going purely on aesthetics. So before I jump in, I obviously have to give the typical disclaimer that these are just my opinions. You're obviously welcome to disagree with me as long as you can be like calm about it in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. We're going to be tackling Merida first. So we are going to be using Procreate for the rankings as per usual, and we have the same tiers that I've had for all of the princess rankings. So we've got perfect, good, okay, I feel nothing, no thanks, and put it back. We are going to be starting off with the 2012 limited edition Merida doll. And I need to like get one gripe out of the way because it applies to every single one of her dolls. And it honestly just like pisses me off so much. And that is her hair. So if we take a look at her hair, there's nothing inherently like wrong with it. Like I'm not saying, ew, this is ugly hair, whatever, like that. That's not it at all. What I am saying is this is not movie accurate. And there is a way to make her hair more movie accurate. And for some reason, they just like don't do it. Like if you see, I'm trying to think of like Honey Swamp from Gen 1 of Monster High, or like the Venus that's going to be coming out for G3 for the Fearbook line, where she has like natural, super curly hair. You could use that for Merida. Like, I understand that that is most commonly a hair texture that is used for Black characters, but like, you can also be someone like Merida who happens to be very pale and have extremely curly hair. And that's what she has in the movie. Her hair is not like this level of curled. Obviously, there are people who have hair that is like this level of curl. I'm not like trying to shit on you or anything if your hair just kind of looks like this. But in the movie, Merida's hair is much curlier. Like the curls are much tighter. And it just really bothers me that there is a hair fiber that is used that is like readily available that you could do to make her hair more movie accurate, and they just like refuse to do it for some reason. So I'm not gonna like the hair on any of these dolls because it just really irritates me that they won't just give her like that level of curly hair. Like I don't know, it's really irritating and it's bizarre, but I need to get it together to look at the rest of the doll. I don't love the face on this one either. I don't feel like this matches Merida visually or when it comes to her personality. Like she looks, I don't know, like this is gonna sound really mean, but she looks weak. Like she looks very timid and like shy and just unsure of herself. And that is not Merida. So again, that one just bothers me. Also, again, visually, like I don't think that it's the most movie accurate, but the expression bothers me more so than like the mold feeling like it's kind of off, just because like did we watch the same movie? Like the whole point is that she's overly strong and headstrong. I almost said strong and then headstrong. I mean, she is both of those things. But she's stubborn and she's fierce and unladylike and she doesn't care what other people think. And yes, she learns a lesson through the movie, but like she still isn't like this. I don't know. Anyway, I'm complaining a lot and we haven't gotten anywhere. I do like some of the details on here. The fact that her like cloak looks like it's made. Why would I ever have the right brush or the right color? There we go. The fact that her cloak looks like it's made of faux fur, I think is a really nice touch because obviously that would be nice and warm for her. We've got like the arrows, we have a sword, the belt. Like there's a lot going on here, and I do appreciate the level of detail in her accessories. Merida's definitely not like a frou-frou princess by any means. So I do kind of like that it seems like more of the budget went to giving her all of these cool accessories instead of trying to like put her in a super fancy dress. Even though I personally love super fancy dresses, that's not who Merida is. So I do really enjoy that. I think I have to put her in okay, because while I do like what they've done for her outfit and her accessories, the hair is always going to be a thing, but also the face, it's just, it really bothers me. So that's where we're putting that one. Then we have a set that comes with her mother, Queen Eleanor. Obviously, we're not looking at her, we're just taking a look at Merida. And this one's hard for me. This is like a dress from the movie when like Eleanor's putting her into a more proper dress where she's like trying to get her to act more like a stereotypical princess. So it is definitely accurate in that way. Like I understand why they gave her this dress, especially for the set with her mom. I really hate the rhinestoning. I just think it's so random and ugly, especially along the bottom here, because it looks like there's a lot of really cool detail in here that's like printed on. And I can't even tell what it's supposed to be because of all the rhinestones on top that are like obscuring it. And they're random. Like they're just so sporadically placed. It doesn't feel like it makes sense. There's just a rainbow of colors on there too. Which like, I love a good rainbow as much as the next person when it is done in a nice way or it's like very obviously intentional. But like just slapping rainbow rhinestones on this, I don't quite understand. I don't know. And I also honestly wish, because in this scene, she also has like a headpiece that like contains all of her hair. And as much as I personally like to see Merida's hair out, especially if they would give her the right hair, I don't understand why they didn't also include that, because that's part of the scene that they're directly pulling from. And I feel like that's also a really like important like metaphor within that scene. Like her hair is like, it's her whole head's covered. Like she just has one little curl that she pulls out. So the whole thing is like she's being stifled very literally and figuratively. Like she's having to mask herself. She's having to hide her like wild side. It's a pretty important piece for like the design of her character in that moment. And so it does kind of bother me that they didn't give her that. Face I think is slightly better. Still a little bit too sweet for me personally. I gotta put her in no thanks. I'm so sorry. I just like, if you're gonna go for that scene in the movie, I feel like you gotta go full throttle, and they didn't. Okay, next up we have two to look at together. So the one on the left is the 10th anniversary version from like the Disney store, and then the one on the right is like the same sort of, but it's the D23 version, so it has a few extra details and extra pieces and stuff. So looking at them, the dresses seem quite similar. I do like the fact that you can actually see what's going on at the base of her dress here, since there's not rhinestones just randomly scattered about. There are a couple for like the eyes here because there's little bears kind of in that design there, which I think is super cute. Obviously a huge nod to the movie. So that's like a rhinestone that's used tastefully and appropriately. I like it better. It just bothers me. So we have that on both. On the D23 version, we definitely have a lot more like detailing. It looks like these are on two different layers. Why do I make everything difficult for myself? We've got more detailing like along her bust portion, potentially. That also might just be connected to the cloak. Can't tell 100%, but we have a cloak for the D23 version. We do not for the Disney Store version, so that's a huge difference. On both versions, it looks like we get still some of the accessories, like the quiver with arrows, the bow. On this one, we do have some more detail, which I like. And then we also get her brothers, which is pretty cute. Like, I like that they included that in there. I think the faces, they're, I think, the same. I'm like doubting myself, but I think that they are the same. I will say that hair color bothers me because we saw with the other ones, it was like a little bit more orangey because she's a natural redhead. So it's going to be more of an orangey tone. This is like getting into Ariel territory where it's real red in there, which I don't love, especially because like, again, they have other colors that they've proved that they have other colors with the previous dolls. So like, why do you have to make it less accurate? I don't know, whatever. I'm getting complainy. I do think this face is better for her. It still is a little bit sweet, and I don't love the eyelashes because Merida would literally never. I get that it's a collector doll. She would never. But I do think that it feels a little bit more accurate to the movie, And it also feels like while it's sweet, it seems less like, I guess innocent might be a good word. She looks less like she's sweet and lost and more just like she's just sweet because she is like a nice girl. Like it's not like she's an asshole. So I do appreciate the face. I think we're going to go ahead and put the 10th anniversary version into good. And then I'm going to be nice. I'm going to put the D23 version into perfect because I have to kind of take my hair complaints mostly aside. Otherwise, I'm not going to let myself put any doll in perfect. And that's not quite fair. I think that's a really cool version with like the cloak and everything. It's nice. We're going to play nice today. And then lastly, we have the Ultimate Princess Celebration Merida. I have said this in all my videos and y'all are probably sick of it, but I did a whole video on this whole collection when it was finished coming out. Same problem with the hair, not the right kind of curls, and also super vibrantly red, which does bother me. It is what it is. I like the face, even though she does have more dramatic makeup. I don't necessarily love that, but the sculpting I think is a lot better, and the expression I think is a lot better because she looks like she's like listening and she's waiting for you to stop talking so she can tease you. Like she looks a little bit more playful, and I do love that for her. I just think it's like a nice play on her character. It feels more in line with who she is as a character. I do like the hairstyle. I think that's quite cute on her. The one earring is really fun, and the like kind of armor piece that she's got going on here again feels very appropriate for her because she's a tough gal, okay? She doesn't take shit. I love that. We have the tartan all over, which is super lovely, and there's a lot of details too with like the purse and the chains going on here. There is it looks like almost like a patch that she's got going on here with like an arrow. I'm not sure how that's put on. If you have this doll, let me know. Because like it's not just embroidery because it's like flat and metallic. So a patch is like the only thing I can think of to call it. But you get what I'm saying here. The fringe all along I think adds a really nice texture to it. It looks like she might have pants on underneath this because the skirt like is open even up to here. So I feel like, again, if you have this doll, let me know because I can't see because like the shadows and lighting and everything. But I feel like she might have pants on underneath it, which if she does, big kudos because like that seems like something she would do. Just like it's kind of funny because I do feel as though certain skirts would be more convenient like for moving, but I do feel like Merida would wear pants just to like be ornery and be like, oh, you expect me to wear a skirt? No. That just feels in line with her character. I really like this doll. I think it's like a fun take on her character. So we're going to pop her into perfect as well with like the caveat, like here's the finalized Merida ranking. The caveat is the hair is wrong on every single one of them. So it's like almost like an adjusted scale for the ranking because not a single doll managed to get her hair right. And it does irritate me, but this is the ranking for her. Pretty solid for, you know, the limited amount of dolls she has. So on to Moana. We have the same tiers and everything, so we're just gonna like pop right on in with the 2017 version of Moana. I really do like this. I feel like her face is solid. I like that they really didn't go with like a ton of makeup for her because like with Merida, some of her dolls still have a lot of makeup even though she wouldn't wear makeup. Moana doesn't appear to wear makeup in the movie, so I like that they've left her face kind of just like fresh and natural. I like the hair they've given her. The detail is really impressive, especially in here. Like she's got her grass skirt, and then the leaves all have embroidery on them to like make them, you know, a little bit more detailed. And there's also little beads of like faux dew on there or like faux ocean water or something. I love that. I think that's such a beautiful, beautiful touch. She also has sand on her feet, which if you have her, I would be very curious to know if that's just painted on or if it like has some sort of texture to it. But I love that inclusion because I feel like it really adds to the feeling of like, I don't want to say wildness because I feel like that might have a negative connotation, and I don't mean it in the way that like I feel like that might sound. But like Moana definitely has like a lot of wanderlust, right? Like she is an explorer, she is extremely curious, and so I feel like having the sand on her feet is like a really cool way to show that. It's like she's been running in the sand, she's been exploring, she has not bothered to clean it off because like she doesn't care, she's gonna go exploring again anyway. I just think that's a really like subtle way to like show her character, and I definitely love it. We have the paddle as her accessory, which is super cool. I don't have anything bad to say about her, so she's gonna pop into perfect. Okay, this next one is from 2016, which, yes, I understand I'm going in the wrong order. That's because we also have a folktale release of Moana, and she's so close to being the same, except obviously the folktale release has a lot more accessories and stuff going on. So I just felt it would be appropriate to look at them side by side, kind of like how we did Merida with like the D23 version. This isn't like a D23 version, but it's so close. I felt like it was okay because I think like the base outfit is almost identical, if not. Well, it looks like maybe here. I always one day I will do a ranking and I will pick the right layer. That's not today, but one day it'll happen. Anyway, this looks like it might be embroidery, the white stripe, whereas over here it's beads. So it is a little bit different, but they're still very similar. I think the faces might be a little different too. Maybe I just didn't pay enough attention. This one has sand on her feet, which I like. This one does not. She also has molded leaves for her like anklets, whereas the folktale one only has one anklet, but it looks like it's made of fabric. The paddles are different. Yeah, these are different. What am I even doing? What am I even doing? Okay, look at the 2016 one. I like the embroidery that we've got on her skirt. I do think I like the beads for the shirt. I think that's nice. Her expression is like quite fierce, quite determined. Love that for her. She's a vibe. It looks like her arm cuff is also made of plastic. I think I'm gonna put her into good because like it's not that she's bad. I'm on the wrong layer. I cannot get it together today. It's not that she's bad. I just don't like her quite as much as the 2017 version. So we're gonna pop that there, and then I need to erase my mistake. Then taking a look at the folktale version, which I now can see is different. As I pointed out before, she had like the fabric on her foot. I also feel like the feathers on her paddle, what in the world am I doing? Feathers on her paddle might be attached a little bit differently because they seem to dangle. And I think the face has like maybe different blushing or something. It also could just be the light, but I feel like it looks like she's got a little more color to her cheeks here. Obviously, the big thing, I can't remember what these little coconut dudes are called. I'm sorry. But she has a lot more like side characters that are included as kind of accessories to this doll. So I do think that that's pretty interesting. I think I like her more than I like the 2016 version, so I'm going to pop her into perfect. And then lastly, we have the Ultimate Princess Celebration Moana. So again, she's got kind of like a little bit more makeup. She's got like the eyelashes, but unlike the Merida, like that Merida, I know I said I liked her. I do still like her, but she had like a lot more makeup on. This still feels pretty darn natural. So I like that, especially the way that her blush has been applied. Or it might just be the lighting again. I don't really know for sure. But I feel like she looks very sun-kissed, and I think that's a great look for her because, like, obviously she spends a lot of time outside in the sun. Having her hair pulled up, I do think is, like, cute. I like the little tendrils that frame her face. When it comes to the outfit, I will say that I'm not, like, an expert when it comes to any Polynesian culture. When I first made my video about this, there was some, like, debate in the comments about whether or not this is accurate or whether it's like kind of missing the mark there when it comes to like being the right sort of patterns and everything. I can't speak to that because there were some people who did feel like it was accurate. I feel comfortable ranking her highly, but like feel free to correct me. And much like I said in my Mulan and Pocahontas video, if it is not culturally accurate, just imagine that I put it at the bottom because I do feel like the least you can do is be culturally accurate. So again, because there's some debate and because I feel like it's possibly accurate, I feel okay ranking it highly. That's a little bit of a spoiler. But yeah, just pretend I put it and put it back if this is horribly offensive because I don't want to support that. I do like that we have this purse here that is like the Heart of Tafiti. I think that's a really cool touch to like incorporate it in that way. So I'm going to pop her into good just because I do think I kind of like her more movie accurate looks better, but I think it's still pretty solid. So, I mean, it's only 4 dolls, but a solid ranking for Moana. It's funny because it's like one of those things where if you have such a small sample size, it could go really good or really bad. And for Moana, it just happened to go really good. But I'm not trying to rush, but also I'm kind of trying to rush because we do have one more princess to get to. So let's go ahead and talk about Tiana. So Tiana does have more dolls than the other 2 characters. I maybe could have done her own video, but she's here. We're doing it now. So this first one, I found different sources list different years that she came out. So I'm not 100% certain, but it was either 2009 or 2010 that this doll came out. So One of those two. I feel like this is pretty solid. This is like her kind of end of movie dress. I like a lot of aspects. I will say the face feels wildly off. I mean, it might just be the photo, but like this eye is like, I did it again. Anyway, this eye is like pointing this way and this eye is like pointing that way. It could be the photo. It might just be that she has like a normal side glance and this is not a flattering like angle for it. But I don't know. Even aside from that, I just feel like something about it is really off. Like her forehead is so tiny. Like a lot of people clown on like big foreheads, but her forehead is like non-existent. I don't know. Anyway, I do think that the hair is pretty good. I like her headpiece and like her veil and everything. Kind of interesting that I'm assuming this is meant to be Naveen in her hand here, but she definitely never saw him in his frog form in this outfit. But that's just maybe me being picky. Moving on down to the actual outfit, I like the gradient gloves a lot. I think that's super, super cute. I like the entire like first layer, I guess you would say, or like top layer of the dress. I think that's pretty cool. Funnily enough, the rhinestones don't really bother me. I don't know if because in my head I'm like, ooh, forest, like dewdrops, not forest, bayou. I don't know why I said forest. Bayou, like there's still water, so like water dewdrops. That's kind of like the vibe that I'm getting. So maybe that's why it doesn't bother me as much. Or maybe I'm just wildly inconsistent. I don't know. But I like the flower at her waist and like the little vine with the leaves trailing down. I think that's all really pretty. This part loses me though, like the very bottom of the skirt. I really like what they were trying to do with these faux petals here, but it just looks not good to me. It just, I don't know. There's like so much detail that it starts to become off putting. They're very crinkly, which, like, yes, I understand real leaves and real petals can be crinkly, but it just looks kind of strange when you contrast it with the very fake looking, like, quote unquote leaves, like the leaf shapes on the outer layer of her dress. Cause you've got, like, okay, this is obviously fabric, and then underneath it, obviously fabric. And then this looks just like oddly like an actual fake flower that I could buy at Michael's. It's kind of off putting, and I also don't think that it flows well. If you look at the top layer, she's got this one, which kind of has that sort of curve. We've got this curve, that curve, this curve. So there's like a lot of motion, and then these are all like bam, 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 bam. Like it just doesn't match up. It just feels really off to me, and I don't like that. I really wish they had just done the yellow layer underneath and been done with it, or just done something different with that. Like it, I don't know, it was very strange. So between that and the face, I think I have to bump her down to okay, which high key sucks because like I really like the top layer again of the dress. I think is so good, but they just ruined it. Then we have the designer Tiana. Y'all already know I hate this line so much. I just think they're ugly. And I don't think this is good. Like this is a reference to the same dress we just saw. I don't hate this portion again, but like the whole satin skirt, it just looks so cheap to me. It can be done well. I do not think this line did it well. Almost every doll from this line had this fabric, and I just think it looks so bad. I'm not a fan of the face or the hair, except for the flower in the hair I do think is cute. But I'm sorry, this is just, it doesn't even look like her. Like, this doesn't even look like Tiana to me. I don't know. It looks like her little sister. Like it looks like if she had a little sister, this is what she would look like. It looks like a relative, but it doesn't look like Tiana, and I hate the dress. So we're putting it and put it back. Then we have the fairy tale version with Naveen, which again, same dress. It's so funny that like the first three we're looking at all are referencing the same dress. We are going to be ignoring Naveen here and just taking a look at Tiana. Again, I don't necessarily feel it could just be the angle. It doesn't look exactly like her. It's kind of funny actually that I decided to do Moana, Merida, and Tiana all in the same video. This wasn't on purpose, but I feel like they all are very like strong princesses. I mean, a lot of the Disney princesses realistically have very strong characters. Like Mulan has a strong character and she's not in this video. But there are some Disney princesses that I can see having this like, I mean, she's got the kind of quirked eyebrow, which I guess gives her a little attitude. But aside from that, especially the way she's posed, like she just looks like she's kind of simpering. And I feel like there are some Disney princesses that would be more suited to that. Like Snow White having a very, very, very sweet face makes sense to me. You can debate whether she's like a strong princess or not. That's like not what I'm saying. I'm just saying her characterization feels like that would be more accurate for her, or even Sleeping Beauty. Like I feel like that would kind of make more sense. But the characters that I just so happen to pick to feature in this video all are very strong-willed. Like they are not, simpering's the best word I can think of. Like, would she look at Naveen lovingly, teasingly? Absolutely. Would she look at him like she's deferring to him? Not on her life. Never once. Because that, I honestly, that's like maybe an even better way to put it, is like she looks almost submissive. And I don't like that because Tiana's like a very strong, dominant personality. She's not going to take shit from this man just because he's a man with a title. So I just don't like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that's the vibe they were trying to give, but that's not the vibe that I want. Looking at the dress, I do wish we had a little bit more volume, but maybe that's just me being picky because I love me a big dress. I do like how the layers are done, the different colors of the leaves, the very like sparse rhinestones I feel like works okay. The embroidery on the edges looks good. I love this little like belt section that she's got going on with kind of the vines and the flower. I think that's very, very pretty. I like this underportion, I mean, better than the petals in the first one. I think the shape is what's throwing me off. Like, I don't know, having like this very organic shape and then just bang, feels kind of weird again. But I like the pattern underneath with the leaf print. I think that's really cool. I just kind of wish maybe it had more flow to it or something. Am I being overly picky? Y'all can let me know. I feel like I might be going crazy, but here we are. I'm going to put her into good because I obviously have my complaints. I spent a chunk of time talking about them. But like there are still aspects that I like. This one is not my vibe. This is the premiere Tiana, and I'm so sorry, but I hate this. I hate this so much. Face is not terrible this time. I even think that the hairstyle is chill for her. Her necklace even is pretty. Everything else makes me feel like she is a Disney Channel star from the 2010s, and I don't mean that in a good way. Kind of funny because she is from Disney, but yeah, I just, there's nothing I can say that's nice. Actually, that's a lie. I'll say one nice thing. It looks like this is constructed decently well, but it's fucking ugly. So I'm gonna put it in to put it back. Next up, we have the D23 Midnight Masquerade. Again, she came with Naveen, but we are not going to be discussing Naveen. I think this is pretty solid. It's not the best photo, but I feel like her face might be a little bit better. And what is really getting me is I love this color for Tiana. It looks like it's maybe a velvet material. And like over here, it's quite blue, but here, depending on the lighting, it looks more of like a teal. So it feels like it kind of shifts a little bit. And I do think she looks really, really good in it. I think it's like a very pretty color for her. I like the shawl that she has, like the like down to the floor shawl, I think is really pretty. Again, I can't see the most, but I think her belt is nice. I like that she's got some fringe on here. It feels like more referential of like the 20s and like the style then. So I feel like that's all quite solid. I'm gonna put her into good just because I do think it's kind of funny because like Midnight Masquerade, I feel like some of the dolls are so extravagant and so amazing. But oddly enough, the ones that were like D23 ones, I just don't think looked as good. Granted, I think a lot of the D23 Midnight Masquerades were like a 2-pack. So they kind of have to split the budget between two dolls, which is probably detrimental. I feel like this could have been even better. Like it is nice. I just feel like it's lacking something. So we're putting her in good, which is still, that's a nice ranking. Okay, then we have the 10th anniversary Tiana. And I think this is so nice. Like, I do prefer her end of movie dress just because it feels more like finalized for her as a character. Like, I like the green, naturey princess poofy dress. This is really pretty though. Like, this is really, really gorgeous. I do think the face is decent. Maybe the best face we've seen so far, actually. At least it actually looks like her. The hairstyle, the detail on like the crown and the necklace and the like neckline here. That is so, so pretty. Unbelievable use of sequin fabric that I actually approve of. I almost never like sequin fabric, but I genuinely think it works for this one. I love like the soft gradient that we've got on the dress and like all of the layers and stuff. Again, the rhinestones are used in a way that is not pissing me off today, which is great. I love this doll. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. Not my favorite dress for her, but like even with that aside, she's beautiful. So she's going into perfect. Alrighty, then we have the Ultimate Princess Celebration Tianas because there are two. So this, I think this is technically the second one, but it's the first one that I pulled. So here we are. I don't love this. In fact, I kind of actively dislike. I don't hate her face. She's got an interesting like star motif going on, which I feel like is supposed to play into like Ray and Evangeline, which is really sad but really cute. But she's got like stars in her hair. There's a couple painted on her cheek. And then she also has stars in her embroidery and on her tights. I do think that's fun just because it's like very different from anything that we see in her other dolls. Like we don't really see her other dolls have that sort of motif. So I do like that. I just don't personally vibe with the outfit. I'm not even trying to say that it's like objectively bad or like poorly constructed or whatever like the case might be. I'm not trying to say that. I just don't like it. I feel like the colors are not for me. The silhouette is like not really what I'm going for. It doesn't appeal to me. I'm going to put it in no thanks because there are some elements that I think are fine, but they are few and far between. Her other Ultimate Princess Celebration doll, though, holy shit. I love this so much. I love that she gets to have like just her hair loose and natural and like curly for this. I think that is so pretty for her. All of the gold is absolutely gorgeous. She's got a cape on here, and I really do like the little like, what do you call these? My brain wants to say pauldron, but I feel like that has got to be wrong. The metallic shoulder pieces that she has, I think are really pretty. And it's like her entire look is very feminine, but that almost armor sort of piece does feel appropriate because it's very subtle. Like it could just be a fashion statement, but it also does, to me, kind of speak to her strength of character. And I really like that. I like how subtle it is and how fun it is. The dress itself is very Art Deco and I love it. Like it's just so fun. It's funny because it's, again, it's not even a style that I necessarily particularly like. Hi, kitty cat. I just saw my little girl walk in. You've been joining us a lot lately. Hi, baby. I love you. She meowed. I bet y'all can't hear it, but she meowed at me. Anyway, back to Tiana. I'm not like, oh my God, I love Art Deco. Like it's the best. Like I don't feel that way. Like it's pretty. I don't really feel that strongly about Art Deco, but I just think that the way that this has been designed, all of the embroidery, the intentional rhinestoning, the gold and then the white, this is so ethereal and beautiful, and I love it. So we are going to put it in perfect. Hi, kitty. That was a loud one. Do you want to come up here? She's like, Mom, actually, I would rather die than get on your lap on camera. No one can know that I love you. Sorry. Okay, we do have one last Tiana doll to look at. For this last doll, I am breaking all of the rules on my channel because when it comes to unreleased dolls, I only use stock photos because I get really anxious about getting copyright claimed. But this one, I feel like I have to make an exception because allegedly this is a doll that is supposed to come out in like a week or so as of time of filming. So I'm like, it's right around the corner. Hopefully it will be okay. And because it's so close, I just feel like I would be remiss in not including this one. Like if it was something that was going to come out in like 2 months, I'd be like, okay, well, it's not out yet. I'm not doing it. It's right there. So I'm just going to hope it'll be fine. I think it's supposed to come out December 4th. So fingers crossed. This, I think, is being called the Bayou Tiana. I could be super wrong on that. Correct me, feel free. Obviously, this is not a stock photo because as far as I've seen as of time of filming, there are no stock photos yet, which, whatever. This I did pull from You Love It. It's like a blog type website that has tons of updates for doll releases. A lot of you are probably familiar with it. So yeah, I'm just we're taking a risk because I felt like I had to talk about her. I think this looks really solid. Obviously, again, not a stock photo, so like I can't get the exact angles or like the exact lighting that I might want, but I think she looks really solid. I love, it looks like it might be beading or embroidery. I can't tell, but like the kind of scalloped pattern on like the bodice portion of her dress, I think is really pretty. It obviously does not go around to the back, which not obsessed with that, but it is what it is. The cutouts along her arm, again, super gorgeous. Excuse me, I like hiccuped a little bit. Please don't get hiccups right now. Okay, I think we're all right. I think it was just a couple. But she's got like some fabric trailing off her shoulder, and it matches the kind of underlayer of her dress here. We've got green and pink, which is different for her, but honestly, kind of a vibe. And also it's kind of cute because it's like her and then also Charlotte because they're friends. Cute. I don't know. I just think that's adorable. I like the silhouette though. I feel like this is very interesting the way that it like is so straight and then flares out, but it's not like a mermaid dress. Just it's a very interesting, unique silhouette that I really, really appreciate. Also, there's like either beaded or lace detail here that I think is really nice. Her face looks good to me too. Like she feels very open and very excited. Like this feels kind of more like end of movie Tiana where she's like reached her dream and she's like super happy and just celebrating. That's a vibe. I can't really tell her hairstyle from this, but I think this is really good, really solid. I'm going to pop her into perfect as well, which is also part of the reason that I had to include her because it wasn't even like, oh, Disney's releasing an ugly Tiana doll. It was like, shit, they're releasing a pretty Tiana doll. I have to include her. So that is the ranking for Tiana. A little bit more split than the other ones, but to be fair, she did have more dolls to pull from, so more dolls that I could be critical of. Still a pretty solid ranking. All of these I feel like were decently good, like weighted towards the top, you know, even if there are a couple ones that I'm just not as big a fan of. So good for the characters featured in today's video. But yes, guys, those are my rankings for Merida, Moana, and Tiana. So much that we covered today. I do want to apologize if my like energy was a little bit weird this video. I feel like I was maybe not on my A game, like making a couple mistakes with like layers and stuff, more so than normal. I always make some mistakes, but more so than normal. I am filming this the day before Thanksgiving, so I do have like a lot on my mind in terms of preparing and everything like that. So I'm a little bit distracted today. My apologies, but hopefully it was fun for you guys anyway. Definitely let me know your thoughts on all of the dolls that we discussed today. I mean, 3 princesses, triple the opportunity to have opinions. I would love to hear what you guys thought of these. Technically speaking, that is the end of me ranking the limited edition princesses, and I don't intend to really do any more like niche characters. Like I feel like a couple people have mentioned like there's like the one-off Giselle doll, or I'm trying to think of like other characters. Like there are like some, like there's the Disney Hocus Pocus dolls, there's like limited edition Incredibles dolls. I'm not going to be doing any of those. I am going to be doing my next like ranking video on the Elsa and Anna dolls, just because I feel like they're very, very princess adjacent, right? And Frozen is such a huge thing that it's like, I feel like I kind of have to tackle that. And then we will be doing a video ranking all of the princes that I've been ignoring throughout this series. And then we should be like pretty well wrapped up for the series. So be on the lookout for those 2 videos, and also a super secret 3rd video that's going to be coming out that is going to be interesting. If you have any guesses, feel free to drop it in the comments. I'm very curious to see if any of y'all will have noticed the pattern that I've been seeing emerging as I've been doing these videos, but I don't want to say any more because I want to keep it as a surprise. So be on the lookout for that one as well. But that's going to be it for me for today, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys. You want to say bye? Can I pick you up so you can say bye? Can you? Say bye, baby. You gonna pour for the mic? Sorry. It's the end of the video, but we have to have. I love my cat so much. I hope y'all love her too. Anyway, have a good one. Bye.